Hi, so now you are on video number 2 for your pre-workshop online coursework hours. And so you just have one video left after this. And for this video, what we're going to do is we're going to actually look at nature deficit disorder and what environmental education is and the importance of environmental education. So first, what I'm actually going to do is start you off with a fun activity. And so I'm actually going to have you close your eyes to start with. So yes, close your eyes. And what I want you to do is I want you to imagine your favorite childhood memory. Okay, so start trying to get that vision in your mind. So your favorite childhood memory. And I want you to think of where you were, who you were with, or if you were by yourself, what you were doing, what you could hear, what you could smell, and what were some of the things you could see. So get that picture going in your mind. Okay, and so now I want you to go ahead and open your eyes. And it's really important that you remember what you were visioning and what memory you had. So remember that. Keep that in your brain because we are going to come back to that again later. So usually when we do this in a workshop, when we ask our adult participants to raise their hand if their memory had to do what was in the outdoors or had something to do with the outdoors, usually we get almost 100% of people raise their hand and say, yes, absolutely, my favorite childhood memory had to do with the outdoors or was in the outdoors or both. And so then I ask those same adult participants, what do you think the kids that you work with would say if you did this same activity with them? Do you think they would say, yeah, it was outdoors? And they usually the adult educators say, no, maybe half or less than half of the kids would say it had something to do with the outdoors. And more than likely, it's a lot of times the kids are raising their hand saying, oh, my favorite memory was when I beat level 10 on the video game that I was playing, or whatever it may be. So we know that there obviously is a really big difference between the experiences that children today are having with the outdoors, and the experiences that adults today had with the outdoors when they were children. And this leads us right into the discussion of this term and topic of nature deficit disorder. And this actually was a term that was coined by a man named Richard Louv in his book, Last Child in the Woods. And what he was really looking at was he was looking at the fact that children are not spending enough time outdoors today, and that's a national trend, and that he identified that this national trend toward decreased time spent outdoors in childhood has very serious consequences for health and development later on in life and during childhood as well. And so to look at some of the facts, which are just kind of astounding as far as, well, what are kids doing? What are they spending their time doing? And what are they doing that's keeping them from being outside? Some of the facts are, the first thing is that today's kids are spending 7.5 hours per day on electronic equipment. And that number has actually, I know, increased. I'm not sure if it's gone up a half an hour or another whole hour, but over 7.5 hours per day on electronic equipment. Which is astounding because we're thinking, well, how on earth do they have time to spend 7.5 hours a day on electronic equipment? But they are. Another fact is that children under the age of 13 in the US are spending approximately only 30 minutes of unstructured time outdoors per week. So approximately 30 minutes of unstructured time outdoors per week, which that doesn't include, like, let's say they're in sports. That doesn't include a sports event or a sports practice because that's a structured time. So when we're talking unstructured, we're talking time for kids to just go outside and play and use their imagination and come up with their own things to do. That's what we're talking about when we say unstructured. And they're doing less than 30 minutes of that per week, children under the age of 13. Another fact is that, and this is the one that may kind of sum it all up, is that today's children may be the first generation to have a shorter lifespan than the previous generation. And that's a pretty big one. That's pretty big to wrap your head around and going, wow, what is causing this? You know, what are some of the reasons that this is happening? And one of the biggest reasons that this is happening is because of the sedentary lifestyles that we live, which, of course, that sedentary lifestyle leads to increases in obesity, increases in ADHD, increases in diabetes, and other diseases like that. So looking at all these facts, we know that it's very important to get kids outside for both their health and for their development. So here's where environmental education comes in. One of the wonderful things about environmental education is that it does just that. It encourages taking kids outdoors, which we know has wonderful benefits for their health and for their development. And one of the really important things to note about environmental education is that we say the key to environmental education is that we're teaching kids how to think, not what to think. So really helping them build those critical thinking skills and good decision-making processes so that when they're faced with an environmental issue or question, they can come up with their own answer or their own solution. So one of the best things about EE is that it actually one of the main focuses of it is that to use, through environmental education, we use the outdoors as a lens through which we can actually teach kids what it is they already have to be learning anyway. So reading, writing, math, science, art, music, etc. All of those things. So it's really important that for us to show you by the end of the workshop, hopefully we've shown you that your environmental education is actually a tool that you can use to do what you already have to do in your classrooms or in your programs anyway. It's not a separate thing that we're saying, oh hey, we know you're busy, do everything you have to do, plus do environmental education too. We actually really want to show you how you can use environmental ed to do what you already have to accomplish in your classrooms and programs anyway, so it's not an extra piece. And that it's really fun, and that kids have an active learning experience, a hands-on, engaged learning experience that they will remember. So those are some of the key things to environmental education and the importance of it. All right, so now that you have a little bit of background on nature deficit disorder and environmental education, you're going to actually go back to that email and you're going to check out the PowerPoint there that goes along with video number 2. And the PowerPoint is going to cover more info on nature deficit disorder and environmental education, those two topics. And once you've done that, you'll complete the really short assignment, and the directions and instructions for that assignment are listed in the body of the email. And then you're going to click on the third and final video to complete your online coursework. So thank you, and we'll see you at video number 3.